I am totally passionate about the fact that there does not need to be suffering in the world. Nobody needs to suffer. We can change things.
Do you mean like day to day? Like, what do you mean?
All of the above. I mean things like there does not need to be child slavery. There does not need to be rape. There does not need to be torture. There does not need to be neglect and abandonment of children or abuse of animals, suffering on all levels. I firmly see and believe how that is not necessary. That people on this planet do not need to experience suffering. We don't have to. We can change that.
Okay, so we can do the work. We can empower ourselves. We can empower our world. Yeah, and that takes time, right?
No.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree with her, but I just want...
I know you agree with me. But that's what a lot of us get stuck on, right? Is
yeah, well, a lot of people think
change takes time. Change, we have to work at it, blah, blah, blah. But
and also the other thing you hear too is, oh, well, but that's part of life. And part of our world is there will always be suffering. There will always be poverty. There will always be pain.
So not true.
So we're going to challenge that thought.
Yeah.
So you
and
really
that's why we're here. We want to challenge this thinking that there always has to be suffering, that there always has to be poverty. So not true. And if you look at the statistics in the world, just look at what North America wastes in food alone every year that could feed all the starving people in the world, you know it's not true. It's absolutely not true.
So what does it take?
What does it take? It takes every single one of us individually in our own lives standing up and doing something about it. And change can be instantaneous. It does not take time.
And that's something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You always hear about, like, change takes time and it's a work in progress.
And it doesn't.
But if you really think about, change only happens instantly in a moment, in the split second.
It's actually never a process.
It can't be.
No, it can't be. Change always happens in a split second.
Yeah, like for example, like
you find out you're pregnant, a loved one dies, your wife leaves you. You get a new job. That changes all in a split second.
So, but you could argue, okay, like, so when my ex and I split up, well, that took time, but no,
the change itself, when the change happened, it was instantaneous.
Yeah, and that was instant.
Yes. And I
so you think we can do that?
Yes, we can do that on a global scale. That's the whole point. But we do that on a global scale by doing something in our own lives and inside our own bodies right now. So a good example of that is if you don't like the whole concept of factory farming, which you shouldn't, by the way, then if every single person in the world today, right in this moment, stopped buying factory farmed meat, there would be no factory farms. It would be done. Yeah. Over. Just like that.
Yeah. It doesn't take time.
It doesn't take time. It's not a process. It's just a decision you make.
It's like changing your mind.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's not working for me anymore. I'm doing this now.
Yeah, exactly. You just changed it.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. And that thought translates into an action. And that changes the entire world.
Okay, so how cool is that to think about what that means and what we can do with that? That means we don't have to wait for generations ahead of us. We don't have to wait for hundreds of years before we evolve to the species where there's no poverty and no war. No. We don't have to wait. Like, we can just decide.
We could have global peace, and an abolishment of poverty and slavery and suffering
in this
today,
lifetime,
right now,
like
in this moment, we could have it.
Have you ever heard that?
Wanted it.
Has anybody ever told you? Like, I feel like when I thought about that, it's like, oh my God, I have permission to believe that this can change now, while I'm alive, while my kids are little.
Yes.
Like, that's amazing. Like, that makes me feel so excited. It's
totally.
It's not like the light at the end of the tunnel.
No,
it's like, it's here.
Totally exciting.
And it's not like this big concept. It's like right now.
And it's minute action. It's a tiny little action. Yeah. And that tiny little action translates into a huge global change for the better. I mean, seriously, you can't not buy a factory farmed meat item today. Yes, you can. Yeah. So we can change everything right now in this moment. All you gotta do is take one action and it changes everything. How cool is that?
It's freaking cool.